We are back for day number 2 of the HLX Duo series. I'm super excited because this is now playoffs. Start to finish, all the way from the beginning of today to the end, people are going to be getting eliminated from contention to reach the grand final spot. So, I'm going to go ahead and show you the pick and ban. This time around, we have Other Halcyon banning Gemworld, Keyboard Kids banning My Hand as a Curtain, Ase's map. So, definitely interesting picks coming out already. I mean, you see Archer 30 seconds into debating the next pick. It's gonna be pretty close. So, in the playoffs right now, this is the 4 seed and the 5 seed going against each other. So, statistically, this should be the closest matchup we'll have, at least in the first half of playoffs and all that. The pick comes in, by the way, it's a Fly North for Summer, which we haven't seen much of, and then we have a Rob and Lynn's map, which everyone has kind of gentlemen to start playing, even though it's definitely an interesting one. Um, and then to decide it, if we go all the way and we go to Rain Dance, which is our purple map everyone has grown to enjoy, so we're gonna get the show on the road. We actually have team names this time, so I don't need to say red team, blue team. And team names will all be the right color and everything will work fine. Really no technical stuff. Smile. So we have random Archer versus a Mince and Keyboard Abuser, which is also known as Very Wash Child, which after this match we'll see if that's a fitting name. I do want to point out that in terms of overall, the winner of this match has to play the other Halcyon team, being Cagney and Fegley. Or not Cagney, Jesus, Nexotica and Fegley. Cagney is currently on the other side of our double elimination bracket. Either way, all the players getting pretty decent warm-ups in. You'll actually be able to see who's on what team at the bottom of the screen, and then in the top left, all the colors are actually correct as well, so I do want to thank Falco for fixing what was wrong, and more so finding what was wrong, because I was not going to be able to do that. Round number 1. Let's go on board with Keyboard Abuser. I don't know if I've seen Mince really play this map much. Mince and Keyboard, I'd like to say. I know Random and Archer have been picking this every now and then, but I'm not sure it's been too frequent for Keyboard Kids, so definitely interesting to see how that's going to go. But right now, all 4 cars still tightly grouped up as we go into checkpoint number 4. Keyboard, the first one to actually make a mistake so far. So victory position for the other Halcyon, as Random has to save his line. I think Keyboard will be able to get past there, so we'll take a look at the fight up front. Archer and Mince wheel to wheel going into checkpoint number 7, the second to last checkpoint of the map. Mince, though, a lot of catch up to do, but Archer doesn't have a lot of speed as we go into the ending of round number 1. Mince, a little bit more speed, way more of an inside line, but Archer will have it in this round. Oh, and Random overtakes Keyboard at the end. Keyboard failed. So victory for the other Elson to start us off. I think that's where what I was talking about comes in, the unfamiliarity. You see Mince having to clip out just a little bit there, so just unfamiliar with how far you can really send and push these, because I don't think the Keyboard Kids have been playing this map as much as they should be in the Swiss that we had yesterday, in which we had 5 rounds of Swiss. Very interesting to see how far Keyboard's willing to push it. He does have a 2/10 gap now as we go into the ending once again. Archer with this inside line gonna overtake, but not have a lot of speed. Gonna equalize as we get into the reactor section. Keyboard getting his lead back. Will he be able to keep it? Random with more speed as we go to the line. Ace by 0.02 of a second. All the way through. Very good job there from the other Halcyon to maximize their exit speed compared to Keyboard Abuser. Oh, but not this round. It'll seem like... Oh, well. We're down to a 1v1 in this round, so... Archer versus Mince up front. The other two, having similar mistakes, just different parts of the map, so... We'll stay on board with Mince as we go into the grass section. This weird slalom, you want to maximize your exit speed up the hill because it really carries. You can lose up to almost 2/10 just in those 2 turns right there. Just exit speed alone. So Archer, he does his inside line, which is slower, I do want to point out, but he's just much more consistent at it than going full outside. As you can see here, Archer, I mean, has that lead, so we'll go on board with Keyboard to see if he can get past Random, but in this round, I don't think it'll happen. Random with a very considerable lead there.
Victory.
Other Halcyon already in contention to close things out in map number 1. I was going to say round number 1, but no. They have we play best of 3 everywhere, and then the grand finals is a best of 5. Keyboard with a lot of speed. His teammate, unfortunately, crashing out just a little bit, leaving Keyboard with a lot of work to do if he wants to try and fight his way back and get some points in this map. So, is actually doing a pretty good job, though. Archer falling a little bit behind. Random as well, so Keyboard's gonna be allotted just a little bit more room, 2/10 of a second as we go into the dirt uphill. Very slowly but surely, Random clipping out just a little bit. Archer with this inside line gonna have less speed than Keyboard, but he's really consistent at it. And as you saw in round number 1, Keyboard actually flipped out there, or round number 2. So that is an okay gamble, especially when you're already up 5 points compared to your opponents. A draw is a good situation there. Mince has been really struggling to get out of the start, though. I just do want to point that out. Not to really throw Mince under the bus. Mince is cool. I've talked to him every now and then. Archer, though, not having the same luck he's been having, so we'll go on board with the Arizonan player. Trying his best to try and get this P1 position, but right now the Keyboard kids are in a pretty okay spot. They have around 3/10 of a second going through this uphill. So it's not looking too bad for them, as long as they can keep their cars out of the wall. I mean, both of them go for this outside line. Random, you saw trying it, but not really going to pay off, so that gap is just going to be extended bit by bit more and more. As we go into the ending, it's going to be Keyboard Kids 1 and 2 for a secured 3 points. Still, the other Halcyon only need a victory to close this one out. Even though that ace seems a little bit scary, you don't need this big, grand ace exit to really close it out. You just need 2 draws if you're the other Halcyon even. So if you just want to play with their slower player, but at the same time, when the pack is this close, you kind of just have to send it. So we'll go halfway through the map now. Keyboard doing a good job at maximizing his exit speed through this grass section. It's what he's been doing, and it's been working pretty good. I mean, Mince getting his nose into contention now. The 3 cars up front fighting like their life depends on it. Archer inside line yet again. Going to be overtaken by the 2 Keyboard players, though, as we go into the ending once again. The Keyboard kids are in ace position. This time around, will Archer have enough speed? No, he won't. He'll full send it. crashing the finish.
Ace.
And now all of a sudden, the match that was 7-2 is now 8-9 due to 2 back-to-back aces, so this could be it. If the other Halcyon get a victory, then we go into overtime, which I think will be the first overtime of the tournament, at least on stream. Definitely curious to see how that'll go, and right now it's currently projected to be like that. Mince, though, losing a little bit of speed with a tiny bit of airtime, so it's going to be up to him to try and reclaim this position because Keyboard Abuser has fallen out of the running just a little bit, so it's up to Mince in this round to try and claw his way past Archer and get the draw for his team because that's all he needs. Only need one more point to close this one out. Mince, though, a lot of speed with this outside line. I'm not sure if it'll be enough, though. Archer's still right on his tail. The 2 Halcyon players trying to send it. Mince will get the job done for the Keyboard Kids in map number 1. A map that was 7-2, not in their favor, gets reversed to a 9-10 victory. Great job there. I mean, as a caster and spectator of Checkmate Esports, that's the best thing you could ask for. And now we go onto the this map. This thing. I do want to point out, Random has a different strategy than the orthodox strategy, I do want to point out, but Mince and Keyboard are also doing that strategy. I'm not sure who found it. It may have been Mince, it may have been Keyboard, it may have been someone not even playing the comp, but it's been pretty fun to see the different styles. But right now, Archer, I think, is the only one doing the original method of turnarounds, so it'll be unique to see how that's going to go, but warm-ups all finished, and we are about to go green on the featuring Lin map. Archer, though, a little bit of a slow start. He does recover it as well as he can. Mince fighting with him. The 2 kind of separate 1v1s in the pack right now. As I say that, Random unfortunately has to release a good bit to save himself. Keyboard going super wide. I definitely thought he was dead. Keyboard actually doing the original strat, so it's just Mince and Random doing the alternate. And it'll work out great for them. I mean, sitting 1-2 with about a 0.4 lead in the Keyboard Kids team right now. They go about halfway. Keyboard. Huh? I thought I saw someone lag out. Anyway. Regardless, both of the Keyboard Kids drivers literally wheel to wheel with each other as we go into the ending of the map now. And Eclipse, not this time around. Mince with not a lot of speed, so we'll spectate from Random's POV, drop down. It will be enough for the Keyboard Kids to start this off great in their favor. 0-3. So just a reminder, the winner of this match does play the original Halcyon team of Nixotica and Fegley, so even if you win this, your work is still cut out for you, but don't worry, it's a double elimination. You can have your chance to come back. So Random and Mince out of the running in this one. So we'll take a look up front to see if there's any battle, but the entire field is kind of spread out right now in this round, so Keyboard doing a good job. He has almost a full second lead. Random and Mince fighting a little bit in the mid-section of the map. Random with a lot more speed going through this downhill, a lot more grip as well, but has to overcorrect, so it's going to equalize as we go into the pipe once again. This is the battle for P3. Players keeping a good bit of speed. Random doing a tiny bit of a better job as we go wheel to wheel into checkpoint number 9. Random having to brake tap to save himself just a little bit. Too much gas though into the outside dirt. Random won't have won't have enough speed to make it through. So hey, we saw the double respawn.
Victory.
It's super fun. Yeah, the finish timeout is set to 12, so if you're not in the rest of the pack, you're kind of just in the mud in terms of respawning and also getting to the finish. But Pac-Mania World Tour, you only need 3 players to finish to determine the result. It's not the end of the world. Mince, though, off to a great start. Oh my gosh. Very, very far ahead of the other Halcyon players right now. Through the penalty grass now in the back half of the map. Mince with still a half a second lead. Archer managing to get past Keyboard in the backfield. Will stay on board with Random as Mince unfortunately clips the hole. That... How? It's so far to the right. Good job, Random taking P1, Keyboard and Mince taking the other positions. Archer unfortunately failed the end.
Draw.
But another draw. Which benefits the Keyboard kids. Missed ace. Yeah. Okay, there is plenty of Trackmania left to be played. Even an ace right now would not be enough to close it out. As we go into round number 4. Counting's hard. Archer with a good turnaround. Mince carries so much speed through here, though. It's gonna be another good start from him. So Archer left to defend this. Random 6 seconds behind. Into the midsection now. So Archer has to get past at least one of them to make a bad situation not as bad. A little bit of a different approach into this. It's not going to benefit him. Keyboard going to get way ahead. Through the grass section now. Keyboard with around a 0.4 lead compared to his competitor behind, but both of the Keyboard kids players clipping and losing a little bit of speed. Archer, though, has a chance. Not enough to get past Mince, but will be able to deny the ace and secure the other Halcyon at least 1 point.
Victory.
So track point and match point for the Keyboard kids. And they'll, if they close it out here, they'll go on to face Halcyon, and the loser team here goes down to the lower bracket, so they have to fight their way back through the rest of the matches. Archer, though, one of his worst starts he's had in a while, but he does have his teammate now to support him. Keyboard, unfortunately, not as lucky this time around. As we go through the grass now, we'll go on board with Mince. Mince needs to get past him if he wants to close it out in this round, but it's not the end of the world. If I was Mince, I'd be playing the consistency game, just securing 1 point for the team. Because right now it's just a victory for the other Halcyon. Not an ace, it's not the end of the world. You still progress towards the 10-point limit. So Random will be getting the end this time around. Mince as well, Archer as well, and Keyboard, I assume, as well. Yes. Hopefully no caster curses today. I had my fair share yesterday in the Swiss, so... Keyboard off to a little bit of a shaky start. Mince as well, having to go a little bit wider than he'd normally like to. But it will kind of equalize. Random, though, unfortunately clipping in the turnaround, which is where most of the time is you can gain in the start. So it's kind of not the spot you want to do it. So the Keyboard kids will be sitting pretty comfortably 1 and 2 in what looks to be the very last round of this map. So Archer going to be around 4 seconds behind. Random finding a new line here in the midsection. So we'll spectate the 1v1 between the Keyboard kids, see if any silly mistakes happen, because you could just still mess up. Archer could get himself in the mix, but he'd have to get past, both of them would have to get past Keyboard Abuser, who is barreling his way towards the finish pretty comfortably, and that will be it for playoffs round number 1. So no vacancy have beat the Weekly Shorts Merchants in their match. So good job there. But Keyboard Kids will be moving on here. And they will be the ones facing Halcyon, which I'm curious to see how that'll go, but I promise you we will have more Trackmania very, very shortly. But we're going to go to a quick break. I'll see you very soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, back to the HLX Duo series. We are already in pick and ban because I'm a little late on stuff. Um, so in this match we have a Keyboard Kids versus Halcyon, which is Mince and Keyboard Abuser versus Nixotica and Fegley. So only banned through right now is My Hand is a Curtain, which has kind of been the it's kind of been the ban of this Keyboard Kids team. I don't think I've seen them on it once. Map number 1 will be featuring Lynn, which is definitely an opener. I mean, the Keyboard Kids did just win on that map, and then we'll go on Nixotica's map, Gemworld, and then Decider, Rain Dance, which has kind of been the story so far. It's been Ase's map getting banned, and then the second most banned has honestly been Fly North for Summer. I'm not sure why. When does Miggy play? Miggy playing right now on the other side of bracket, Vid. Get rid of it. Get out of stream, bro. What the hell? Yeah, we are I'm interesting to see because the Keyboard Kids did they're warmed up. They just beat the other Halcyon on featuring Lynn, but it's going to be strange to see if this Halcyon team is warmed up enough because this is their first match of the day. While the Keyboard Kids do have that slight advantage of playing one and getting warmed up and getting into the swing of things already. So, but just a reminder, anyone new watching, it is a double elimination bracket, and why are they all on blue? Dude. I force team? Oh my god. Help. Force team. Or wait, what's force player? Oh wait. Force team. Uh Nothing is broken, guys. Am I spelling his name wrong? Nothing's broken. Readies, and then we are pause them live. Okay. Round number 1, for real this time. We'll go on board with Nixotica for round number 1, rocking his Damascus Gaming skin, the classic, but right now, off to a little bit of a bad start, so as I was talking about during the pick and ban, the Keyboard Kids did just win a match here, but Keyboard Abuser, unfortunately, not going to have the same luck he had against the other Halcyon, which that's not me just saying the other Halcyon, that's their actual team name. So we see how this goes next, though. Still off to a pretty good start. Fighting with the rest of the pack, though. It's going to be Mince versus Fegley up front, though. Mince with a little bit more speed. Going into the grass section. Not a lot of track left to be played as we get into the dirt now. Fegley with a little bit more speed than his competitor. Going into the ending, all players keeping all 4 tires on the ground as much as possible. Good job there, and that will be a victory for Team Halcyon.
Victory.
Nyx, though, off to a little bit of a better start than last round, but seems Mince has taken his place, kind of fighting off the back foot in this round, so. Ooh, unfortunately, Fegley having a little bit of a mistake. Mince's line is so different to watch. He's actually the only one doing the alternate strategy in this lobby, at least. I think, Random and Archer both do the alternate, even though it's a lot riskier. If you get it good, you're around 0.1, 0.2 faster. If you get it bad, though, you are around 0.3 behind. So, going to be Mince versus Exotica for the P2 position, which pretty good. Well, as long as Keyboard can hold his 1.6 lead. Exotica, though, not a lot of speed going into the outside dirt. He's going to be wheel to wheel into the ending. On board with Exotica now, seeing how much he can do. Mince, unfortunately, though, clipping his tires. Still pretty close, though, because Nyx missed the finish.
Victory.
Yeah. They are, they're locked. I know it doesn't look like it because we've had mistakes every round, but this is probably the second hardest map to do well. Mince goes so high and then carries all that exit speed. Will be equal with Fegley, though. If you get the normal strategy very good, you still stay equal, but it's just much harder to get it to that caliber of speed. But right now, pretty equal between everyone right now. Exotica, though, the only one trailing behind by a little bit. We'll go on board with Keyboard Abuser to watch this P1 battle as they go wheel to wheel into the grass section. Only 2 turns left in the map now, so it's Fegley and Mince to decide who gets what points and where. Fegley, though, a little bit more speed as we go into the ending. It's all about who dares to risk it lower, and Fegley does it. 59-4, winning the round there. Jesus. Just a, the record here is a 59-1, so, and it's by Fegley. So Fegley definitely has it in him if he wants to try and get close to his PB pace, aka the world record pace. Mince, though, not a similar story as last round, so it's going to be up to Keyboard Abuser to kind of front hold and keep this all together through the back half of the map. Doing a good job, though. Fegley keeping the pressure on, a little bit more speed as to go through this downhill. Keyboard, though, not letting up easy. Getting a very good line into the upside down section. You need to make sure you get your tires on that little white strip in the penalty grass because it guides you in the direction you want to go. So Keyboard extending his lead just a little bit, risking that drift very far. Gonna have to overturn here, sacrifice a little bit of speed. So Fegley, a lot more speed than Keyboard as we go through the ending of this map, though. Fegley super low into the exit, but he won't have enough track. He won't have enough time. And Keyboard will be able to hold on for a Keyboard Kids victory.
Victory.
Very close map. So just a reminder, this is Halcyon's first match of the day. So maybe there's that little the factor I was talking about where the Keyboard Kids are warmed up. They did just play a match on this. They're ready to send the pace and give it everything they have to try and extend their way into bracket. Nick's getting a very decent turnaround. Gonna have a little bit less speed than the 2 competitors in front of him, though, and then Mince, unfortunately, losing a lot of time, almost 0.4 between the P3 and P4 position players as we go into the turnaround once again. Fegley has been getting a lot of speed out of here, and I'm not sure how. I'm not smart enough to understand how, and I'm not smart enough to pretend how. But yeah, doing a very good job at just keeping this lead. He is super consistent in this end, which is where everyone is the least consistent, though. Keyboard a lot of speed on the outside dirt. He's really sending it, trying to get something better than a draw, but it won't happen this time around. Exotica actually gets past Mince in the ending, so it's going to tie it back up 7-7. Is Cackney playing, or did he FF to play Pal World? He's playing. He's on the other side of bracket. We'll spectate him if he wins. Gosh. Damn Cagney fans in my chat, bruh. No, I'm just kidding. I like Cagney too. This round, though, we'll see Mince go for his alternate strategy, but it won't pay off this time. I'm going to actually end up losing about half a second compared to the rest of the field into the back half of the map. Keyboard, currently sitting between the two Halcyon players, is going to need a little bit of a better position if he wants to keep this equaled up in the score overall. Doing a good job at it, though. Equal speed with Fegley as we go into the drifting section. Fegley gets a lot of speed out of the plastic turn, though. So it's going to be up to Keyboard once again to really send this and push it as hard as possible. Both of the players clipping out, though. So Nixotica and Mince are wheel-to-wheel. Fegley and Keyboard are wheel-to-wheel into the ending. Nixotica actually gets a tiny bit of a bug, and it's 600ths between the two players. 59.8.
Draw.
0.7 away from the world record in that round, and it is 8-8. You only need a victory now. You don't need an ace anymore. Any chatting? No chatting so far. The most talkative players, being Mince and Keyboard, are actually not chatting in the in-game chat for once, because both of them actually clipping out this time around. Keyboard is full in the mud, so it's up to Mince to get ahead of Fegley, but he has 0.3 of a deficit to make up now. I don't think there'll be enough track. I'm not sure there'll be enough time. Fegley, though, has started to make mistakes due to the pressure of the close rounds over and over. Fegley, though, he's been getting so much speed out of this turn. It will happen once again, so Mince is kind of... He's not losing time, but he's not gaining any either, so as we go into the ending, Mince will send it just a little bit too hard. Fegley will be able to keep his position. Nick's right behind to secure the victory, and that will be it for featuring Lynn. Very close track.
Victory.
I mean, the Keyboard kids were doing a really good job there on that map. But now we do have... Gosh, we have Nixotica's map. So Nixotica made a map, and then he sent Fegley to practice it so that they're both consistent on it. So I'd be very surprised if the Keyboard kids can usurp the Halcyon players right now, but definitely surprises can happen with how the series has been going. I mean, I didn't think it would go the distance that close to the 10-10 overtime. Fegley, last map world record, Nix, this map world record. Oh, okay. Well, you know, it could still go the distance. Fegley had the record last map. But yeah, Halcyon only needs one more to move on into the next round, which will be against team... Oh, I can't remember if the other team is done. Team No Vacancy being, I think, Snowy and someone else. I don't know, I gotta check. Oh my gosh. I don't know my own players, I'm sorry. No Vacancy is Snowy and Brandon, so kind of the newer players on the scene are putting up a good fight against Acne and Miggy over there on the other side of bracket. It's a bit of a shame I didn't watch that one, but this one is also super close all the way through. So Fegley this time not gonna have the best of starts, and Exotica as well, so the entire field all pretty spread out. You can see Exotica actually getting a lot of time compared to Mince. I mean, he built the map, he knows it himself. But I assume it's also one of the ones he didn't practice as much either, because, well, it's his. Through to checkpoint 10 now, and Exotica will actually be getting past Mince into the ending. Let's see who's actually doing the turnaround. Keyboard won't do it. Nix will, Mince will. And Fegley will a little bit slow, but I mean, he was already 2 seconds behind anyway. So a victory for the keyboard kids will put them in the lead, but just 1 point, not the end of the world. It's round 1. You need to make sure with the... Whoa, a lot of mistakes there. It's still pretty equal. Keyboard, the only one actually suffering the consequences of the players who clipped in that sequence. Halcyon getting out of the start 1 and 2. Mintz actually lacking a lot of speed compared to his competitors as we go into the drifting section now. Mintz having to release just a little bit as well to try and keep his car on track. Exotica, though, keeps gaining a lot of time through this dirt and water section with that. You drift into the booster and make sure you maximize your time there. So Exotica and Fegley doing such a good job at holding their lead. Nix won't opt for the turnaround this time. I don't think he spun his car enough, so Mintz will be able to overtake there. But Keyboard, not the same fate, so it will just be a victory for Team Halcyon. It definitely could have been worse for the Keyboard kids if Nixotica actually spun his car enough in the original turn, but won't be enough this time around. Oof. Some shaky lines coming out from 3 of the players right now, being Nix, Keyboard, and Mintz, but kind of all equaled up near the end. Nix only sitting 0.3 behind the rest of the pack, as Fegley a little bit less speed than Mintz as we go into the water section. Keyboard doing a good job at equalizing as well. So it's going to be pretty close as we get into the dirt section. You want to make sure you're keeping your gear all the way through as you inch your car closer and closer to gearing down, because you can lose a lot of time. But that outside line where you connect your skid marks and recompose yourself will gain you a bunch. It's with a good turnaround. It won't be enough though. Oh my gosh, 100th between the 2 players in this round or that P1 spot. I'll check the record here too. 56-2. So we're not full sending, but there was a lot of mistakes in that round. Round number 4 though, Mintz is going to actually fully clip out. It's going to be up to Keyboard once again to kind of hold down that P1 position, but right now it doesn't look like he has very good control of it. Fegley making a good name for himself as he go into checkpoint number 4, down the hill through the drift now. Exotica also getting his car into the mix of things, trying to get past Keyboard. Through down to the booster now, where Exotica has been gaining most of his time. He won't actually this time around. Fegley gonna lose a little bit of speed as well, but Exotica is gonna catch up there, and Keyboard is slowly but surely slipping away from the Halcyon pack, but doing his best to try and make a statement right now and get past Exotica and stop this ace. And ace will put Halcyon at 7 points, and it's really hard to come back from there. Keyboard opting to just full send it and actually gets it faster than Exotica can do the turnaround. Woof. Just a victory for Halcyon. It could have been much worse. The turnaround is faster, but you have to get it well for it to be faster. For Keyboard to literally just say, I'm just gonna go for it. If you get it good, oh well. Because he was already behind anyway, right? No vacancy of 1, 2-0 in the other match. So that is against Cackney and Miggy. So Snowy and Brandon have beat Cackney and Miggy on the other side of bracket. So Team Half-Baked will be going down to the loser bracket. That is Snowy and Brandon. Snowy Ghost, I think Snowy Goat is their in-game name, and a Brandon, BRNDN hyphen. Very close round this time. Mintz, though, unfortunately, the only player to clip. Halcyon doing a good job. Their cars inside of each other. Nix actually opting to not even go for the turnaround this time. Will be equal to his teammate all the way to the line, and that'll be an ace, putting them on 9 points. Hackney, what happened, man? The fuck is you doing, says Bede. Okay. Round number 6, Halcyon getting very close to closing out this series. Only need 1 more point which means all they have to do is just not get aced any other result, and they are fine. Elson doing much more consistent job at getting out of the start. Keyboard not making it easy, sending his car as hard as he can. Unfortunately, in that snowy turn, he will end up clipping the back tire there, so it's going to be up to Mintz to try and get past Fegley. I mean, Keyboard also has to get past, so it's not looking the best of situations, but Mixotica making it a little bit easier, so Mintz needs to try and put pressure on Fegley so he can make a mistake, but in the turnaround, it won't happen. Fegley will secure the win there for Team Halcyon. 2-0 against the Keyboard Kids, and they will unfortunately be moving down into the lower bracket. GG's from Team Halcyon. So we are going to go to a small break yet again as we get the bracket in. We will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are already going to go ahead and get started in the next set of matches. So we have Team The Other Halcyon being Archer and Random versus Team Half Baked being Miggy and Cackney. So anyone in the stream who's hate watching, grab a bucket of popcorn. It is time to hate watch Cackney. Please don't hate watch. Not healthy. um You should be able to join your match, Snowy. Are things broken? Hold on. Uh-oh. It's currently only me and Alex running things today, so... Yeah, you should be able to join. I have your thing set to your team. Anyway, pick and ban. We'll start on Mello's map, fly north for summer. Then we'll go to featuring Lynn and end on Gemerald if we go the distance. So, pretty decent picks there. I haven't seen Rain Dance banned a lot, actually, so it's a little bit interesting to see that this time around, but definitely not an unwelcome sight. We've been kind of seeing the same maps refreshed over and over again, but Aussie's map still is not being enjoyed. It's very hard. It's probably the hardest of the pack. So we'll see the man of the hour, Cackney, who is he really just doesn't want to be here. He just really wants to play Power World. And then his teammate, who is ore farming in the stadium. Here we go. Things are actually not broken in this round, but as we saw in the last round, I think everyone will get set to the same team on map switch for some reason. No one really knows why. Keyboard, get the fuck out of the stream and go play your match. Keyboard's sitting here chatting while Alex is literally pinging him to join the server. Here we go, round number 1 on Fly North for Summer. This is Mello's map. He did a great job here. I bugged him time and time again because I wanted the maps to be as good as they can be, so... But I'm happy with this one. I like the scenery here a whole lot. Out of the start, though, it's going to be very close. Random, unfortunately, not going to have one of his ideal rounds this time, so Archer going to also have to break tap and slow down to save himself. So it's going to be Team Half Baked sitting P1, P2 pretty comfortably. Around half a second of a lead between the two players, but still one mistake could shake things up just a little bit. Archer doing a good job at trying to claw his way back. Is cut that lead down to 0.3. His inside line here, though, is going to lose a lot of speed, but it's just much more consistent for him to actually get all the way through. So through the ending drift now, the only player in contention of being overtaken is Miggy, but it won't happen this time around. Not enough speed, not enough time. An ace to start things off. Ugh. I mean, we saw Random was, after that first mistake, started full pushing and ended up having another one, so it's definitely not the end of the world if things go wrong, but in terms of the overall score, that 3-0 does not sit pretty in your head for the mental part of Trackmania as well. So into the sausage now. Cackney and Miggy going to sit wheel to wheel with each other. Archer and Random trailing a little bit behind, obviously not as much as last round, but definitely still kind of in that range, 0.2 between the two players as we go through. Archer losing a good bit of speed, Random overtaking. Random actually still with a lot of speed as Cackney clips out, so it's going to be up to Miggy to try and defend this as Random keeps on his tear with all the speed he gained from that grass section. Miggy, though, not going to let up easy as we go into the final section of the map. Spectate Miggy as we go into the ending now. He'll have a wider line, but Random will just keep more speed into the ending, and it'll be a victory for Team the Other Halcyon.
Victory.
2-4 into round number 3. Which has been a similar story, but after what I saw the Keyboard Kids do against their round 1 opponents, which I'm forgetting the name of, obviously, it was 2-7, and they actually ended up pulling it back 10-9. So this is kind of like Kevin Garnett, anything is possible moments. And Cackney and Miggy have kind of had this start pretty locked. They've been doing it really well, but as I say that, Archer, a lot of speed into the wrong areas, it seems. So Random gonna have to... Miggy? I was gonna say Random's gonna have to try and overtake Miggy, but Miggy will give him the go-ahead in this round. So up to Cackney to keep himself together. He has a 1.1 lead into the ending. Just needs to kind of draw it out. Not a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, Miggy is a little bit too far behind to really make an impact, so all the players gonna make their way into the finish one by one.
Draw.
The draw gets us closer and closer to the end of track 1. Halfway through now. Archer clipping in the start. Miggy, though, going to have to brake tap to save himself, so Archer's going to be kind of nipping at the back tires of Miggy throughout this plastic section as Cackney and Random are currently wheel to wheel coming out of the sausage. Random with a tiny bit more speed, not going to matter though. Through this drift, Random going to have to release a little bit. Cackney full sending there, very confident in his drift this time around. So Cackney, less than 1/10 of a second, literally within 1 car length of each other. Going into the uphill dirt, make sure you keep all the speed you can. Get as outside as possible to carry all the speed you can into the ending now. Cackney not as fortunate as Random as we go through one more time. Archer now actually in contention to really overtake, but Cackney going to have a little bit of a better line. So Random will... Cackney? An ace for Team the Other Halcyon to equalize things. Cackney missing the finish there, if anyone didn't see. The Pal World is calling, I assume, as Random, unfortunately, will be clipping out of the start once again. He hasn't had the best luck, I've noticed, in the beginning. Sorry, beat is making me laugh. Miggy now doing a good job at holding the lead for Team Half Baked. They need to kind of bring it back. They're only down 1 point, obviously, but 1 point being 0-1 versus 6-5 is definitely a different story, because if the other Halcyon ace once again, they only need a draw to close things out. So Archer, though, a lot less speed as we go into the ending, so Cackney is going to have a chance to overtake here. A very wide line, but he'll use all that speed he gained to get back up the hill. So it'll just be a victory for Team Half Baked to equalize things 7-7.
Victory.
Both of them now in contention to get the track point. Every player making it out of the start. Go on board with Miggy into the plastic section now. Archer doing a good job getting very inside. Gonna have to sacrifice a lot of his speed though to kind of recorrect his car and wrangle it back onto the racing line, but Miggy a similar fate. So it's going to equalize all the positions now, currently sitting in a draw. Miggy though doing a good job of putting Archer on his back foot right now, along with Random. Random actually getting very close to Cackney as we go into the dirt. Random's line here is very good. He's been super consistent in keeping a lot of speed through this outside dirt all the way through now. Cackney also getting it good, but unfortunately clipping out. So it's going to be Archer and Random 1 and 2. Random also clipping out near the ending. So Archer will take 1, Miggy 2. Hackney 3, and Random P4. So we'll just be a draw, and we'll go 8-8 on Fly North for the summer.
Draw.
A lot of mistakes in the ending there. Players driving near their absolute best right now. I mean, Random, you see, having a little bit of an unfortunate start, so it's gonna have to kind of put the pressure on Archer to really send and try and get a P1 and secure something that, well, they would need a draw if Random doesn't get past Miggy, but right now he's making a very good case on why he can actually doing it. So now Team the other Halcyons sitting P2, P3 pretty comfortably, but Cackney, his lead is growing a little bit more every second. Random clipping out, but Miggy a little bit too far back to really capitalize, so it's going to be Archer versus Cackney to decide the fate of the round. Cackney going very wide, going to keep a lot more speed than Archer is inside line, which he hasn't failed, which is kind of the point of it. But as we go into the ending once again, Archer will not be able to get past Cackney. Random will keep his position against Miggy, and we go 9-9. One more round to kind of decide it all, unless another draw happens, but we've had 3 in a row. Into round number 8, you need to make sure you're getting out of the start to really give yourself a chance. Archer, though, see, he saves it there, but he's going to have to sacrifice a lot of his time. So Cackney, Miggy are going to be sitting 1-2 as we go into the plastic section. Random doing a good job at fighting for contention on that P2 spot. Archer, though, still having to sacrifice a lot of his speed to bring his car back online. Still very close between all 4 players. Miggy and Random making mistakes. Miggy, unfortunately, getting the bad end of the stick there, so it's going to be up to Cackney to really hold this together and hold Half-Baked in contention to go into overtime. Archer and Random doing a good job at kind of keeping the pressure on. We'll go on board with Archer into the ending now. Cackney, a lot of speed, but he has unfortunately missed the finish before, so I wouldn't count this round out yet. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. So as we go into the ending one more time, we will be sitting 10-10 in the first overtime of the playoffs.
Overtime.
Round number 9. I believe this is the longest series we've had in the duo series. They're the longest maps, sorry. As we go into overtime now, Miggy and Cackney actually struggling a little bit out of the start, but Cackney's still very, very close, so it won't matter too much. All 4 cars really packed up as tight as possible in this section of the map. Cackney, a lot of speed out of this drift. Archer playing a little bit safe, sacrificing some of his speed to kind of keep it together. Miggy very wide, though, will go over the hole and having to slam on the brakes and really save himself, so Archer will get past, and we'll be sitting in draw position again unless Random can get past Cackney. Into the ending now, Cackney going super wide compared to Random. Random actually safing a little bit, just kind of hoping for something else to happen. Archer and Random playing the long game, as we can see here. Cackney not opting for any funny business. We'll just go straight towards the middle, and it'll be another draw. Into round 10. Neither of these players, or neither of these teams have proven which one should deserve the map just yet. Random doing a very good start. Miggy, though, unfortunately trailing just a little bit behind, so he's kind of away from the rest of the pack. I know he's only 1/10 behind, but 1/10 could be the difference between a victory and another draw. As we go into the drifting section now, we'll go on board with Archer, as he has to do his best to try and keep as much speed. He's been safing it through that drift almost every round now, so you need to make sure that you're keeping it together. Cackney has been slowly but surely inching away, but Random not letting it happen just yet. As we go into the uphill dirt now, Random going to have to really full send this outside dirt line, or he could try to play it safe like he's been doing, but that'll just guarantee another draw. Cackney will send it just a little bit too much, and it'll be too little too late. As he's sitting P4 now, Archer and Random both getting past, and they will close out overtime with an ace. That will be all she wrote for the first map. Track win by the other Halcyon. beating Team Half Baked 14-11 in a double overtime situation. But as we go into featuring Lynn, hey, the teams actually stayed the same. Nice. We go into featuring Lynn though. I am a bit concerned. So I definitely have seen that Archer and Random can be pretty consistent here, but Random's alternate start has been kind of lacking. I mean, he keeps clipping right before the turnaround. I mean, Archer as well, but definitely not as much, so. Weekly Shorts Merchants is Milan and Voltzi. So, Milan and Voltzi 07. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Here we go into round number 1. So the other Halcyon are up a full track right now. Remember, we only play best of 3, and then we have a best of 5 grand final to really tie things off there. Every player making out of the start, but it is the turnaround where it really matters. Cagney doing a good job. Gonna keep a little bit less speed. Archer clipping his back tire though, so Miggy kind of a similar fate. So every player is kind of sitting in a single file line right now. No one's really in contention to fight with anyone except maybe Cagney with that good line through the hole. Doing a good job. You want to make sure that you're keeping your car as straight as possible in this penalty grass and get over that white strip. It kind of leads you in the right direction. So as we go into the back half of the map now, into the grass section, you need to make sure. Random's been doing a great job at keeping all the speed possible, but Cagney not gonna let it end just yet. So much speed to the outside dirt this time around, and he will actually have enough. Random? He will have enough to get past the Texan driver. Miggy's backwards. Random's upside down. What is guys? Victory for Team Half Baked. As a caster, what do I say, man? Like, because I'm supposed to be unbiased, and I'm supposed to, like, but that just sucked. That sucked from everyone. Cagney had a great outside dirt, and then it looked like child's play because everyone else forgot how to drive. Anyway, into round number 2 now. Cagney and Archer going to be fighting wheel to wheel. Miggy and Random going to be fighting wheel to wheel. So kind of 2 separate fights going on in this round this time around. Archer and Cagney still not letting up. Miggy's the first one to kind of break away from his battle. Cagney breaking away from his, so kind of sitting in a victory formation right now. Miggy a lot more speed than Archer as we go into the outside dirt. I don't think there'll be enough track and there won't be enough time because Archer has the lower gear. Random, unfortunately, clipping as well. Miggy will be able to secure it, and that will be an ace for Team Half Baked.
Ace.
No vacancy is Snowy and Brandon. Yes. Yes, yes. They've been playing really good. Like, they've actually full locked. It's insane. Round number 3. The Team Half Baked have kind of secured themselves a 4-point lead, which is kind of the number where you start to feel a little bit of safety. So Archer doing the original strategy along with Cagney, and you see Random with the alternate strategy, a lot more speed than his teammate as we go into the midsection of the map now. Cagney still doing a good job. Miggy trailing just a little bit behind as we go into the upside down section. We'll go on board with Random, his fight to try and catch Cagney in the back half as we go through this drift. Random's doing a good job of keeping a lot of speed through this drift and in the grass, but I don't think it'll be enough to really overtake. I mean, he has half a second to really gain. Miggy and Archer fighting now. I can't tell who's lagging though. Archer doing his best to try and get past, but that'll just be another victory for Team Half Baked decided in the very last 10 seconds of the map. Round number 4 now, and Team Half Baked are already in contention to really close this one out and send us to a map number 3, which I believe is Rain Dance? I don't remember. Miggy, though, clipping this time around, so kind of denying that ace opportunity. that we were not gonna say hoping for, but waiting on. So Archer with a lot of speed, gonna get that nose down with the air brake strategy. Doing a good job at trying to catch the P1 position of Cackney, who has been playing extremely well in the series, but Random 0.2 behind will have some contention to really fight for this. A little bit more speed than Cackney as we go into the drift now. Cackney gonna actually carry a little bit more. Random gonna have to overturn just a little. A huge outside dirt turn though, gonna actually gain almost 0.1 with just that turn, but it won't be enough. Cackney will keep it together. Archer P3 and Miggy will bring up P4 pretty safely and comfortably.
Draw.
So a draw inches us closer to the 10-point limit. All these players doing their best. I want to spectate Random in the start now. He's been doing really good at kind of keeping it together. What the hell? He's been doing an okay job at keeping it together. We'll get on board with Archer. Into the turnaround now. Miggy going super high there. Gonna have a lot more exit speed than Archer. It's not about how high you go, it's how fast you can get through it. But normally more speed means you go higher anyway. So Miggy a little bit wide. Archer's gonna have a chance to kind of recuperate himself and bring himself back into the fight and try and stop an ace. But even if Archer gets past, he has to get past Cackney. Due to Random being out of the running, this time around it won't happen. So we'll go on board with Cackney for what is, I can assume, a victory lap. Releasing a little bit, brake tapping. He's safing it as much as possible. But this does mean that we are going to go into a third map. Keyboard Kids have beat, so that's Keyboard Kids is a Mince and Keyboard Abuser, and WS Merchants is a Voltzy and Milan. It's Archer's out? No. We play one more. And the loser of this goes down to no. The loser of this is out. Yeah. Loser of this is actually out of the tournament, just due to how seeding worked. And but I'm curious to see how Miggy's gonna play here, because I can assume that Cackney is going to do a good job at kind of playing the consistency game, getting like a consistent P2, maybe P1. So it's going to kind of be up to Random and Archer to see how well they want to send it. This is my first time seeing them on this map. Team Half-Baked, that is. I've seen the other Halcyon here. I know how they play. They actually do it pretty well. But it's just the fact of that this is the decider. So, if you lose here, you are eliminated from the duo series. And someone else will take your place. Cackney now doing a good job at keeping himself together through the start. I'm not sure who that was. Archer making the first mistake of the series, or of the track, sorry. Random though, fighting with Miggy into the drift now. You want to make sure you maximize your exit speed into this next drift where you can do the same thing, get as far right as possible so you can keep all the speed you can into this water, because if you have a too shallow angle, you'll end up bouncing out and it's just really not a good time. The Random still fighting with Miggy as we go into checkpoint number 10. Miggy, though, finally going to let the pressure off just a little bit, not able to keep it up as much as possible. Let's see if Cackney is doing the turnaround. Yes, he is. Random as well, gonna get a little bit of a slide lock. Something. Weird ice things happening in the ending there, but will actually be able to keep it together. Archer will bring up P4. So a victory for Team Half-Baked. So the pressure is kind of on for these teams right now. Random and Archer getting the better of the starts. I mean, they're sitting P1, P2, and I won't say comfortably just yet. Into the drift now. Random doing a good job of keeping all the speed he can. Archer lacking just a little bit in the tech sections. Cackney with the drift of his life going into there, carrying that speed all the way through to checkpoint number 8. As now all of a sudden, Archer and Random are now sitting P3 and P4. So Miggy bouncing out though, so Archer's gonna reclaim that position, and it's kind of seeming like a similar story, except just who's who has changed. So Archer and Random have switched positions from the last round. So Cackney not even opting to do the turnaround. Archer not as well. He knows he has it. As all 4 players will cordially bring in their cars to the finish.
Victory.
So 2-4 in favor of Half Baked right now. Round number 3 on the final track of the series. Does it turn out even faster on the end? If you do it good. If you do it bad, it's slower. Hackney and Random doing a bad job at getting out of the start this time around, so it's going to kind of separate the field into 2 separate 1v1s. Random doing a good job though. Let's spectate Cackney and his drift line. He won't get the drift from last round. I mean, it was pretty absurd, so let's go on board with Archer. Miggy, though, doing a good job at front holding for his team right now. Archer, though, kind of playing the consistency game as we full send into the ending. Some position changes happening in the back. Cackney, unfortunately, making a mistake, letting Random get past here as we go into the turnaround now. Cackney not getting it as well as he would have liked, so that will just end up being a draw. Miggy doing a good job at holding his position in the end. So just a reminder, the team that loses this map will be eliminated from the tournament and their chance at reaching the grand finals. So Cackney, with one of the best starts I've seen in this round. Unfortunately, Archer is clipped out, so the pressure is on Random to try and capitalize and turn a horrible situation into just a bad situation. But Miggy not making it easy for him, though, all the way through into the water section. Not going to have as much speed as Random, though, as we go into the uphill now. Cackney doing a good job at holding his position all the way through. Miggy, though, clawing his way on the back tires of Random as we go into the dirt section. This is where Miggy has been kind of struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's a gear issue or a line issue, but he just always loses around 0.2, but he's still right there in the ending. Miggy, a lot more speed, but it won't be enough. 1 wheel length between the 2 players in the ending of the map to stop that ace there. But now Team Half Baked are on match point, meaning 1 ace is all they need to really close it out, to get all the way through, to advance to day 2 in the tournament and have to go out like this. It won't be the prettiest of sights. So now the pressure is on Archer to stop the Team Half Baked 1-2. Random is fully out of the running for this round, which means all eyes on Archer in what could be the last round of Gemworld. Round number 5. Cackney and Miggy are looking to close it out very early compared to their other tracks. So as we go into the water section now, Archer won't have a lot of speed compared to his competitors. Miggy slowly but surely inching away. Cackney safing just a little bit. Miggy's getting closer bit by bit as we get into the ending now. Miggy finally getting the dirt as well as he would have liked in the round where it matters. Archer won't have enough track. He won't have enough time to really capitalize, and that will be all she wrote for Team The Other Halcyon. An ace to close it out. Team Half Baked will move on in the tournament.
Ace.
Whoa. We will have more Trackmania for you soon. We're gonna set up the other set of matches. I promise you we will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the quarter finals of the duo series. So I'm excited. These teams have been fighting each other for the past almost, what is it, 2 hours, 3 hours? So I'm pretty excited to see what we're going to do. Team Half-Baked actually banning My Hand as a Curtain, which I think the keyboard kids have always banned that map. So maybe it's a mime in the World Cup kind of situation. Rain Dance ban coming out now. So we'll begin on Featuring Lynn by Rabbi and, well, obviously Lynn. Then we'll go into Gemerald, and if we go the distance, we'll end on Fly North for the Summer by Mellow. So just to remind you who's playing, you have Mince and Keyboard Abuser, and then Cackney and Miggy on Team Half-Baked. So, I think it's gonna get confusing because Keyboard Abuser wanted the team to have his own name in it. These guys are gonna be chatting the entire time, but luckily I don't have to subject myself to that. Unless something breaks. Make sure one more thing. Okay. So after this match, the winner of this match will play Team No Vacancy, which went the distance with Team Halcyon. They have been extraordinarily locked for this competition, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen this time around. But in terms of this match, I don't know how it's actually going to end up. Why is everyone on Team Blue? Fuck my life. Of course, Team... Yeah, whatever. What the fuck, ever. Yeah. Unpause. Everything's fine. Nothing breaks. Comp tool works perfect. We set it up perfect. So Mince does the alternate strategy here. I think Miggy also goes for it sometimes. I'm not sure if he was going for it in the warm-up we just saw. But I think this one does have the chance to go close if Mince and Keyboard can challenge Cackney in the back half of the map, where he kind of, like... The map stops being kind of gimmicky in the back half, so Cackney has been really strong there. Miggy, though, unfortunately, flipping just a little bit in the start of this. Whoa. Everyone making a mistake except Mince so far. Holy aura. Cackney's full dead. Miggy's basically full dead. Fighting with Keyboard, so 3-second to P1. Miggy losing the gear and having to overturn to not gear up. The Keyboard's gonna pull away a little bit. Cackney's full dead. Guys, this is supposed to be like a climactic moment. Keyboard doing a good job at just holding his 5-second lead he has. Or his 6-second lead. To go into the ending, Mince gets it. Keyboard will also get it pretty well. Pal World is calling. All the players getting to the finish. Miggy won't. By 300ths. It doesn't matter. We don't keep track of points per player. Either way. Into round number 2 now. Not a good start for Team Half-Baked. I mean, they've kind of been... Woof. Miggy has been really sending that drift. He's clipped there twice now. But in the turnaround, 3 of the players, all the remaining players actually get it good. So in this round, it will be much closer as we go into the midsection of the map now. Cackney doing his best to try and keep all 4 tires on the ground. The longer you keep grip here, the more speed you're going to have into this section, which carries into the upside down, which carries through the penalty grass, where you can really see how much you gain. So Keyboard doing a good job there compared to Cackney this time around. Mint's 2/10 behind. He is kind of holding this up pretty well in case Cackney makes a mistake, as I think that. So it will be very, very close as we go into the ending now. Keyboard doing a good job at lining it up. Mint's not a lot of speed, but there won't be enough track for Cackney to get past, and that'll be a back-to-back ace for the Keyboard kids.
Ace.
Good rounds coming out from everyone there. I assume that was for the last round, actually. Round 1, where no one made it through clean. So good job for the Keyboard kids, securing 6 points in 2 rounds. Just need Miggy to make it out of the first drift without clipping, because then this could be really, really close. But right now, he's just forcing the pressure on Cackney time and time again. So Mint's going to try and have to make up this 3/10 deficit to secure anything other than a draw, but it won't happen this time around. So he's passed that baton on to Keyboard Abuser this time. I looked away for half a second, and Cackney is what, guys? Cackney back in P1, Keyboard Abuser sitting around half a second behind as we go into checkpoint number 9, the last section of the map. Cackney again clipping in the outside dirt. He really wants to play Power World. Keyboard Abuser clipping as well as we go into the ending. Spectate Mints. Mints gets through. Miggy, guys,
Draw.
this is supposed to be like a climactic moment. Winner of this has the chance to go to the finals, or the 3rd place match, and secure a podium. Why are we like drooling on our keyboards? Round number 4. If Miggy can get out of the first rift, half-baked or locked. Watching? Done. GG. Don't even need to see the rest of the round. We'll go on board with Mints, though, because I actually do want to see the rest of the round. So all 3 cars within 1 car length of each other right now, going into checkpoint number 5 as Cackney throws his car around that hole on the little white section in that grass area. You can regain some grip and throw your car down the hill much faster than if you were to avoid it. So but right now, Cackney's still on the back foot, having to really send it in this last section if he wants to try and get anything done here. Will actually have a lot of speed. Keyboard Abuser getting closer and closer. Cackney a little bit more speed than the 2 Keyboard Kids players, but I don't think it'll be enough all the way to the line. Cackney will overtake 1, but it won't be enough to stop them.
Victory.
They will still get a victory this round. So the Keyboard Kids sitting 1 point away from closing out round number 1. Stay on board with Cackney. Mintz is full dead out of the start, which is not the most ideal situation, but sometimes it just happens. Keyboard Abuser fighting with Cackney in the start of this map. Both of them doing the normal strategy, no alternate turnarounds here. Well, let's take a look where Miggy is. Miggy a little bit slow out of the turnaround, but not the end of the world, and Mintz trailing right behind. But in terms of the P1 battle, Cackney will actually make his way into that first position, going for the very risky line where you keep more grip and have a little bit more speed, but Keyboard not going down without a fight. In this round, they only need anything. They just need a 2nd place. Mintz could set his keyboard down right now, or take his hands off the keyboard right now, and they'll still guarantee at least 1 point. So Miggy a little bit too far behind to capitalize on that mistake, and Mintz also getting past him. So they will draw it out 3-10 in the first track of the quarterfinals. So this, I believe, was, I believe this was Team Half-Baked pick. I mean, Miggy was doing good. He finally found his footing in the last series. So maybe it's just, where is Mintz? Oh. Game crashed. So I'll give a little bit more exposition while we wait on Mintz to return. In the meantime, I do believe this was Half-Baked's pick. I mean, Cackney was doing pretty good here. He was very consistent in the back half. He has that huge, that's a bad time to pause. He has that huge drift line he goes for out of the start. So, Cackney doing, very good on this map, so I'm not surprised that they were the ones who picked it. Miggy the only one actually taking the pause to, They're currently debating whether Cackney has a mansion. Like, we're very locked. We wait on Mints to return. Slowly but surely. So Miggy, though, in the last series, Miggy was having some troubles with the back half of this map, namely checkpoint 8 and onwards. I mean, as you can see here, he barely keeps the gear. And then in this section where you drop down to gear 2, you need to make sure you throw your car on the outside on that little gray part. So I'm gonna ask them if they're all ready, and we will get the show back on the road. Vince is ready. Keyboard abuser's ready. Cackney's ready. Miggy! He's probably ready. Unpause, then live. Bang! Chat's off, because I don't want to see that. Round number 1 now, for real this time. Miggy having a little bit of a longer warm-up due to Mintz having some technical issues, but he said he was ready. I mean, yesterday, Keyboard was the one whose game was crashing over and over, and then now it's Mintz with the first crash of the day. But either way, out of the start now, Mint's the only one to really make a mistake. So through the drifting section now, it's going to be very close, but unfortunately, Keyboard Abuser will be the next one to make a mistake, leaving Half-Baked in P1, P2 with over a 2-second lead between them all. So kind of the ideal situation. I mean, Keyboard and Mintz are sitting very far back. Still a 2-second lead between everyone. Cackney's on a banger, by the way. I just wanted to... Just for myself, I'm going to look at the world record to see if this is anything close. It's 0.8 away from the record this time around. And that was round 1. So where the hell is Keyboard going? An ace in the first round. So we are in, just a reminder, we are in the quarterfinals, so whoever loses this is out. They do not play another match for the rest of the day, and whoever advances plays team No Vacancy in the 3rd place match to reach the grand final. So in terms of the start this time, though, all 4 drivers getting out with relative cleanliness. I mean, Miggy a little bit slow here. Keyboard, the same story. Going to be trailing the pack just by about half a second now as we go into checkpoint number 6. Cackney with his insane line into this water, but Mintz not gonna let him get away that easy. A very good job by the Arizonan right now to really push it as hard as possible and get to this outside line. Both of them snapping to connect their skid marks all the way in the ending. Mintz now doing a good job. Goes for the turnaround, but unfortunately it'll be just about equal. He won't gain anything with it, but that was an astounding attempt.
Victory.
Team Half-Baked are in kind of the ideal position right now to wrangle this back 1. Thank you, Arg. For anyone who doesn't know, Arg's saying that because I am going to be the caster at GX. So this wonderful casting you hear where I repeat myself a few times will be also at LAN. Into round number 3 now. Mintz and Keyboard are doing a much better job than usual at getting out of the start. Miggy, the only one trailing behind. I believe he's safing it just a little bit. He's had some trouble in the first series where he was clipping a little bit, and like on featuring Lynn, Rob and Lynn's map, where they were making some silly mistakes. But right now, sitting in a draw position for both teams. Miggy needs to make sure he's keeping it together right now in case one of them make a mistake, but it won't happen this time around. Cackney's on another good time. As we go for the turnarounds now, Mintz will gain just a little bit. He actually lost a 10th there, huh? I don't know.
Draw.
Will just be a draw. That is, that's 0.2 from the world record. Okay. Sure, into round number 4 now. Cackney showing he's kind of full locked in terms of the ending of this map. Is so Mintz, unfortunately, going to have a tiny bit of a little bump there getting out of the water. So it's going to be up to Keyboard Abuser to fetch this situation from the jaws of Cackney's metaphorical piranha mouth. That's a bad idiom. Don't listen to me, guys. Cackney doing a good job fighting for P1 yet again. Keyboard having the best case for himself in the last few rounds to kind of secure this P1 position, but Cackney's line out of the water will be too much for him this time around. He'll get that lead back, and his back left tire will flip that bush just a little bit now. So Miggy a little bit too far back to kind of capitalize, and I do want to spectate Cackney's end. He has 0.7. Yeah, not even going to go for the turnaround this time. So good job there from him and Team Half Baked for securing another victory.
Victory.
So, just to give a little bit more context, I know I've repeated myself. The winner of the series, not this track, obviously, will go on to play No Vacancy, being Brandon and Snowy Ghost in the third place match, and then whoever wins that will be in the grand final. So they will be facing Halcyon, who have secured themselves a win all the way through. Unfortunately, Miggy not going to be doing his best this time around in terms of a pole position battle or any position battle. So Cackney also making a mistake. So the Keyboard Kids, even after that mistake by Mintz, are still in ace position to kind of get this a little bit closer and put a tiny bit of pressure on Team Half Baked. So we'll spectate Mintz as he goes for the turnaround. He'll safe it though, so it'll be just a tiny bit slower. Good job there from Keyboard Abuser and Mintz as the Team Half Baked make their way into the finish in this series, or this track. Sorry, I keep making that mistake. We'll stay at 8-6 for the time being. Iggy making a mistake in the second turn of the map, so it's going to be up to Cackney again to kind of hold down P1, but if there's anyone who could do it in this series, I believe he could, especially on this map, which is kind of where he's shown he's fully locked here. He's not really made any too big mistakes. He's being toxic in my Twitch chat and making me laugh. The Keyboard doing a good job at kind of staying right on Cackney's heels as they go into the uphill now. Cackney actually going to be on the back foot into the dirt section, going to have to brake a little bit to kind of reprimand himself and get himself back online. Literally equal with Mintz as we go into checkpoint number 10. Very, very close between the three drivers now as we go into the ending. Mintz will be going for this turnaround. Will Cackney ego and say it's not faster? It would have been. Mintz sent it as hard as possible, but this will just end up being a draw. If he could get his front tires down, that would have been incredibly fast. We are driving 0.5 from the world record right now, guys. But still, the Keyboard Kids do have a point to try and get very, very close to ending this right now, because if they get an ace, they will close out the series fully and advance in the tournament. So Miggy, again making a mistake, going to be fighting with Keyboard Abuser in the back of the pack for this time around. Miggy, though, not a lot of speed compared to that driver. So it's going to be Cackney versus Mintz up front. Mintz doing a good job keeping himself together, but if Cackney knows he doesn't need to get past Mintz to really win the series, but oh, he's going to try anyway. Just needs to safe it out. Cackney has 1.6 of a gap to keep himself in the tournament and send this to a map number 3 for the quarterfinals. So as we go into the ending, Mintz will do his turnaround. Cagney will safe it and just throw his car into the finish. Very good job there from Team Half Baked, securing that. Even though they didn't win the round, they got the 1 point from the victory. So both of these teams winning one map now. So as we go into the final map, being Mello's map, Fly North for the Summer. Keyboard abuser is saying in in-game chat, Cagney, I thought you wanted to play Pal World. We'll keep chat open for his response. I'm curious to see. There's been some antics all day. Ooh, mints. Oh my gosh. So this will be... Okay, Miggy kind of decent here, I can't lie. What the hell, Bede? You're supposed to be, like, hating. Even if you're lying, you have to stay a hater. Round number 1 on Fly North for the Summer. Both of these teams have shown time and time again why they deserve to be here in the quarterfinals, but only one of them will get to move on and play No Vacancy, who have been showing their absolute best. Going to be a close match between whoever gets to play them. Cagney, though, unfortunately making a mistake in the start now, so it's up to Miggy to stop this ace, but right now it's not looking very convincing as Mince is slowly but surely inching his car further and further in front of Miggy, but Miggy with so much speed, along with Keyboard Abuser making a mistake now, so still up to Mince to kind of bring this back for the Keyboard Kids and stop them from, they were in such a good position, and it'd be such a shame if all they get out of this is a draw. So Mince going super outside, going to have a little bit more speed than Miggy, but I don't think there's going to be enough track or enough time, but right now, very, very close. Miggy with a lot of speed out of that drift. And that will end up being a victory for Team Half Baked. Keyboard Abuser making a mistake in the backfield.
Victory.
So good job there from Cagney to kind of keep himself together and make sure that in case there was a mistake, that you're still capitalizing on that, because some players, whenever they crash in formats like this, they just kind of give up, they drive lackadaisy lines and don't really focus, but good job there from the half-baked player. As we go into the plastic section, the only player to be kind of out of the pack is Mince, but he's really sending this as hard as he can this time around, so going to be kind of a single file line once again, so Cagney, Keyboard, Miggy, and then Mince. Miggy, though, unfortunately clipping, trying to go for that very high-speed line that we saw the last round out of him. So it's going to be another draw position. Let's Keyboard can kind of get past Cagney this time. But I don't think... Keyboard? Don't think it'll happen this time around. Miggy's a little bit too far away to capitalize on that silly line that Keyboard Abuser actually ended up going for, so... all the players will make it to the finish in another draw position, so 3-2. What are you guys fighting? What are you fighting about? Okay, whatever. Anyway, as we go into round number 3 in the quarterfinal, Mince, unfortunately, off to a bad start now. It won't be the ideal situation he's looking for, but Keyboard Abuser doing a good job at staying in contention for the P1 position. Cagney has been starting to make some silly mistakes in this grass section, especially. But now, Cagney won't do it this time around, so it's going to be up to fate. See who can get more speed out of the exit, or Cagney clipping his set of left tire is on the wall now, making this very, very close into the ending. Cagney with a tiny bit more speed compared to Keyboard Abuser, but I don't think there will be enough time for him to really get past. It's going to be one car length to the finish, and it won't be enough. Then Miggy, and then Mince. So this is yet another draw.
Draw.
Mince now needs to make sure he's actually getting out of the start. In the past 3 rounds, he's been 4th place into checkpoint number 2, which is obviously, I don't need to say, but it's not ideal. But now, this time around, as soon as I start counting him out, sitting P1 with actually a full car length coming out of the plastic, which is very rare to see, especially with this caliber of player you've seen throughout today's matches. So Miggy is sitting a little bit behind now, a little bit too far to really do anything about it, but Cackney also making a mistake, leaving the keyboard kids to their lonesome to try and make some extraordinary things happen with an ace and maybe revert the series, because it's just been a victory for Half-Baked and then 3 draws in a row. So an ace would really change the tides here. 1.3 between the 2 teams now, so no mistakes, just safe it out all the way to the end. Mint's even low speed, full safing that. So an ace coming out for keyboard kids, making the series 4-6. But more importantly, a lot more interesting. As much as keyboard? Nope. Can I ask what world record is? Yeah. World record is a 56-1 by Nexotica. So they're driving pretty close to that. Keyboard just actually doing a late start. There's no joke there. He just started late. So up to Mintz to kind of recoup the team and make something else happen, because Half-Baked are currently in a great position to kind of go for a counter race. Miggy with not a lot of speed to go into the grass section. Now Cackney around half a second ahead of Mintz, though, the Arizonan driver for keyboard kids. So through the dirt section now. Cackney's been prone to mistakes here, but he won't have them happen this time around. Miggy trailing 0.2 behind Mintz. Very, very close into the ending, so if any mistakes happen now, it could really shift the tide of what the result is going to be, and Cackney finds out where the pillar is, and Mintz will take that P1 position in the very end and turn a bad situation into a great one, a victory for keyboard kids. Can someone make a gif out of that? I think his name was showing. That'd be awesome. Match point now for the keyboard kids. They just need a victory, so Half-Baked are looking to earn a victory themselves or even ace, but Miggy having to double respawn. So the best case scenario will be a draw, but Cackney also unfortunately making a mistake in the first half of the map. So this is kind of going to be a victory lap for the keyboard kids if they keep it online. Keyboard abuser opting for his safer lines, not really going for the max amount of speed. Cackney is catching a little bit by bit, but I don't think he'll have enough time to really get all the way to the front. Having to actually release here, or else he would have slammed into the wall. So through the last drift of the map, and they will go hand in hand into the finish for the last ace of the series. The keyboard kids will take down Team Half-Baked in the quarterfinals of the duo series. So keyboard kids will be facing off against Team No Vacancy, our newcomers who haven't really made a name for themselves, such as these household names like Miggy, Cackney, Mintz, and Keyboard Abuser. So it's going to be kind of an interesting series to see how it's going to go all the way around. But unfortunately, I can't bring you to it just yet. We're going to go to a small break to bring you that banger of a match. We will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into the semifinals of the HLX Duo series. So I'm not even going to waste any time. I'll just throw us right into the game. So we have team No Vacancy being Snowy Ghost and Brandon versus the Keyboard Kids, which we've watched time and time again. Keyboard Abuser versus Mints, or keyboard Abuser and Mints. Hopefully not versus, that'd be a little bit awkward all the way through. But either way, picks and bans are coming out. Team No Vacancy banning Gemerald. Keyboard Kids banning Lynn. I'm not sure about the Gemerald ban. I mean, that's Brandon's best map, I'm pretty sure, but Keyboard Kids actually banning featuring Lynn. So we will be seeing Ase's map getting a tiny bit of playtime, which the Keyboard Kids have been banning almost every single time. So it's curious to see how that's really going to work. And then we go Fly North for summer. And then if we go all the way, we'll end on Rain Dance, which hasn't seen a lot of playoff time, I'll be honest. But these teams are both locked. I mean, you can see in chat, Keyboard Abuser has been saying that they're primed up, and he's actually a little bit worried, saying, quote, "Don't smoke us." So I'm excited to see. This will actually be their first on-stream appearance since the Swiss stage, because household name, they get a little bit of priority, but this team has been playing extraordinarily well. I mean, they were the ones that actually sent Team Half-Baked into the lower bracket. So it's definitely curious to see how that's going to actually work out. And then against Team Halcyon, which they lost to in the in playoffs round 3, they went the distance. They actually took a map off Halcyon and then just barely lost it out in the very last map. So whoever win this will be facing Halcyon again. So maybe, okay, we're all on the same team. Things are fine, guys. Nothing is broken. They're all used to it by now. But Ase's map, for anyone in the stream who hasn't been able to see this, it's very hard. In terms of technical difficulty, this is the hardest one, and I don't think it's close. I mean, featuring Lynn, made by Rob and Lynn. Obviously that one's hard, but that's more of a gimmicky hard. This one is kind of just put it all out there. This is a standard mixed tech map. So here we go into round number 1. The stream hasn't been able to see No Vacancy's performance, but I promise you they have been playing out of their minds, challenging some of this region's best players. I mean, the map pack suits both of them, but right now, 4 wide out of the start. So Snowy going to be the first one to leave the pack a little bit on the back end. So Mints doing a good job defending Snowy Ghost as well as he can. But Keyboard and Brandon are now fighting in the very front. Keyboard Abuser with a little bit of a better line, going to keep a lot more speed compared to Brandon. Actually, both of the Keyboard Kids will. So it's going to be super close in this round. But right now, Mints unfortunately making a mistake. Maybe that's the inexperience on this map coming through just a little bit. I believe this has been a staple pick for No Vacancy. I'm curious to see what they're going to do about it. Brandon, unfortunately, going to make this draw situation to something just a little bit worse in terms of a victory for the Keyboard Kids. I was going to say, I thought Mints wasn't making it to the finish.
Victory.
So good job there in round 1 by the Keyboard Kids. Even with Mints making that mistake, they salvaged that and made that a good position. So good job from the team in the color red this time around. I do wonder, I never asked where the team name No Vacancy came from. Obviously I can infer why they're called the Keyboard Kids, but the other side, I'm not sure. So Brandon doing a good job at holding off Keyboard Abuser, but unfortunately we'll get that little bit of a bump. We'll lose a good chunk of speed, so this time going to be up to Keyboard Abuser to kind of keep himself composed and together to fend off both of the No Vacancy players. And Snowy Ghost literally wheel to wheel with him right now. Brandon going very wide, having to break tap and save himself from hitting that wall as hard as he could. So both of the No Vacancy players driving very good, but just having to save themselves over and over, while Keyboard Abuser has been kind of steadily rocking in terms of how fast he's going. So into the ending now, it will just actually end up being a draw. So we'll take a look at the world record here. It's a 57.5 by Cackney. So Keyboard Abuser driving 0.4 from the record. Just a reminder for anyone new joining, this is the semi-final. The winner of this will be facing Halcyon, being Nixotica and Fegley in the finale. Brandon, a lot of speed up the hill, will actually shoot himself back into P2, as it's super close now. Mint's the only one to really get away, and Keyboard does a great job of keeping all the speed he can through this weird dirt section where you have to go the inside hole route and then keep all the speed possible. So Brandon has been losing there every single round, just a little bit. Curious to see how that's actually going to end up hurting them later in the track. Snowy lagging a little bit, so I can't tell if he's clipping or not, but will actually have to end up saving himself, leaving the Keyboard Kids in a comfortable 1-2 position as we go into the final checkpoint of the map. Keyboard and Mintz hand in hand into the finish. Mintz going a little bit more inside, taking the P1, but it doesn't matter. That will still be an ace for the Keyboard Kids. 0.7 from the record there. Obviously safing it just a little bit near the ending there. I mean, as soon as you see... Arg, stop it. You make me self-conscious, man. Noe, unfortunately, clipping out, so he's going to be fighting with Mintz into the front half of the map. Mintz now also making a tiny mistake, as I say tiny, but now he's sitting 4 seconds behind, so we'll take a look at the battle between Brandon and Keyboard Abuser. Brandon now has been doing his best to kind of throw his car around these corners, but it just has not always looked the most controlled and calculated. While Keyboard is driving the pace he's comfortable with right now, Brandon unfortunately clipping out. I don't think anyone else is close enough to really capitalize. I mean, Snowy is also falling out to Mintz, meaning that this might be another victory for the Keyboard Kids in round number 4. Yes, it will.
Victory.
So now the Keyboard Kids are already on track point. Only need a victory to really close this one out, meaning all they need is a second place. I say all they need, but right now with Snowy's poor start this time around, I'm not sure it'll work out. I mean, the Keyboard Kids have been slowly but surely getting better and better as the day has gone by. So maybe it was just a matter of the amount of matches played and the amount of time in each map, but as soon as I start saying that, Mintz unfortunately finds a way to flip his car over. So right now we're sitting in a draw position. Brandon now losing a lot of speed in this drift compared to Keyboard Abuser, who's a full second ahead of Brandon. As we go into check... Keyboard? Where? Hello? No vacancy, now sitting in an ace position due to the wonderful magic of Keyboard Abuser just forgetting where he was and forgetting he was playing a video game. So into the end now, Snowy with a lot more speed compared to his teammate, but they are sitting P1, P2 very comfortably, and that will be an ace to kind of wrangle this series back in the hands of No Vacancy. Still, in Keyboard Kids' favor, I mean, they only need a victory, but it's a lot closer. I mean, a draw would allow No Vacancy to be in contention of taking the track point as well, if they were to be able to ace in that final round. Snowy's so laggy. We'll go on board with Mintz out of the start, who has been kind of struggling a little bit, but speaking of struggling, Brandon unfortunately having a huge crash there. He'll be very slow going into the next checkpoint, which, speaking of checkpoints, I believe this map has the least amount. So mistakes are huge here. Speaking of mistakes, Keyboard Abuser clipping in the checkpoint, so he just has to live with that mistake. Right now, Snowy is a little bit too far back to really capitalize on that situation. Sitting in that draw position, like I said, but as soon as I speak it into fruition, Snowy will be making a mistake there. So Keyboard sitting behind Brandon. Mintz comfortably in his P1 position. but I don't think it will be enough for no vacancy, and that will be it for my hand is a curtain. Yeah, I think I should stop saying people's names because this happens. I say keyboard, he crashes. I say Brandon, he crashes. Mince actually didn't when I said his name because he has aura. No. Track win for the keyboard kids this time around. So we will where is Brandon gone? Okay. Brandon's game has crashed. So we'll wait on him to come back as we going to fly north for the summer. In the meantime, we'll look at some PBs. So Mince's PB is a 56. Well, here, first of all, let me do slash world record. So it's a 56.1 is the record. And then in terms of PBs, Mince is a 56.3, keyboard with a 56.4, Snowy with a 56.4 as well, but just 300 slower. And then when Brandon gets back in here, we will we'll see his. From Breakless, I had a pretty close game with no vacancy yesterday. I only lost 24 rounds, 24 points to 0. Dang. So Snowy's gonna fix some open planet stuff. Obviously Brandon will be rejoining shortly. Snowy will actually restart the game very fast, so we're gonna take a just a little bit to look at the Mince's warm-up. Oh, I do wish that this was my channel so I can make people gamble on matches and stuff. Scheduled tech pause? No. This is an actual tech pause. And it's not because Comp Tool broke for once. Comp Tool has been working fine since all the hiccups. It breaks after pick and ban is all. Just the teams break, and then it works. Either way. It's immense. Full pushing just for a little bit because we want to pause. In terms of the duo series, overall, anyone new joining, I'll say it one more time. I know the people who have been here are tired of hearing it. The winner of this gets to play Halcyon. And the only reason no vacancy are in the lower bracket right now is because of Halcyon. They went to a map 3 with Halcyon and just couldn't get there in the very end. So I'm curious to see if that rematch works. Daniel, don't piss me off. No. Chat, who do you think's gonna win? I'll break the fourth wall for a little bit instead of being a normal caster. Who do you think's gonna win? Keyboard kids have a map already. No vacancy 2-1. Keyboard kids. Keyboard kids, no vacancy. So yeah, pretty split down the middle from the people typing so far. Dark Hero, did you type unplugging and plugging it back in? I wish I could unplug Comp Tool forever. It's such a bad program, website, whatever. What is keyboard doing? Oh, it's chilling. Okay. As the readies come in from all the players, we will make sure that Brandon's good. Okay. Live after unpause. Unpause. Alright. We go live into what could be the final map of the semi-final. The keyboard kids took map number 1, but I don't think it'll be as easy this time. I mean, Mince was having some start troubles last time around, but in the warm-up, he was looking pretty consistent. Speaking of start troubles, Snowy not being able to get through that dirt chicane there very cleanly. I mean, Brandon now has a lot of weight on his shoulders to really stop this ace from happening because a round 1 ace is almost a mental shattering thing. If you don't have the fortitude to really like sit down and push through it, it is world ending. But doing a good job getting past Mince this time around though. Still has one to beat though to make this a draw and make it an okay situation, but Mince really not gonna let that position go down easy as Keyboard Abuser gets incredibly close to the wall. So Brandon's gonna opt for Archer's line that we've seen. I don't know who did it first because how the stream ended up working out, but Keyboard Abuser a lot more speed compared to Brandon as we go into the end. It's going to be wheel to wheel. Keyboard Abuser will inch it out by 0.02 of a second all the way through, and it'll be a victory for the Keyboard Kids. What a round by Brandon to really put his head down and send it, even with Keyboard Abuser's incredible line there. I mean, that's what? That was 0.4 from the world record in round number 1. I cannot stress to you the pace we're driving right now and forcing them to be consistent on it too. Every single player making out of the chicane this time. Lowest of the bunch being Snowy. Mince now clipping again. He's been clipping there every other round it seemed in the last series, so not new, but definitely unique. He doesn't need to be pushing as much as he is this time around. Brandon will be the one to make a mistake, so we'll go on board with Mince because I really don't want to spectate Snowy, but they're in such a good spot. Keyboard Abuser, the only one left to beat. As we go into the ending now, Keyboard really loves sending that outside dirt line into the uphill because it makes you keep a lot more speed compared to the rest of it. Keyboard, I can't tell if Keyboard's crashing or Snowy's lagging. Will make it through. Brandon won't be able to overtake Mince in the time allotted, so it'll be another victory for the Keyboard Kids.
Victory.
I love lag spectating and not sarcasm. Makes one of us, Arg. Round number 3. The Keyboard Kids have slowly but surely been increasing their lead, but one good round in terms of no vacancies favor would definitely put them in, but it's going to be hard to when Brandon's making some mistakes like that. So Keyboard Abuser and Snowy are going to be fighting as we get into this black sausage section. Mince also throwing his car into the mince. Jesus. I've been guessing a while, guys. Keyboard Abuser flying out though, not being able to get his car onto that white road section on the left side of the grass. So it's going to be Snowy versus Mince to decide the fate of the round. Brandon actually getting past Keyboard Abuser with that mistake he had. So again, as we go into the ending, Snowy going for the inside line. Mince actually clipping a little bit, so Snowy's going to have more speed even when the inside line, but it's going to be who can stay on the brakes as little as possible. Mince with a tiny bit more speed as we go into the ending. Snowy will be able to hold it all the way to the end, half a tenth worth of time in the very end there. Keyboard car skin is great, I guess. We'll actually load car skins. Got self-conscious that I didn't do it before. But yeah, this series, we're about halfway through the track now. Keyboard Abuser making a mistake already, a big mistake at that. So it's going to be Snowy Ghost and Brandon sitting in the best position they've had out of the start in every single round. We're in round 4 right now. We're about halfway through the track in terms of points. Keyboard Kids sitting at 5, no vacancy, 1 point behind. But Mince definitely has his work cut out for him if he wants to capitalize on this position. But Brandon, all of a sudden, is now not in the running. Maybe Keyboard Abuser can even get past Brandon. Yes, he does. So if Mince doesn't get past here, it will just be a draw. And draws favor the team who has more points because it inches it closer to the ending. And you can just spam draws over and over. The Snowy will be the one keeping a little bit more speed this time around. Very equal going into the end, but Mince won't have enough time to really get through. Brandon, though, a lot more speed than Keyboard, but not enough track to make it happen. So 5-6, another draw in favor of the Keyboard Kids. Or team no vacancy. I'm a little bit worried they haven't had any mistake in the start or the last few rounds. It almost feels like they're due for it. As we go into checkpoint number 2, Vince doing a good job at holding his position as clean as possible. So it's going to be Keyboard Abuser holding up P3 pretty comfortably, I'd like to say, but it's definitely... Oh, Brandon has been having a lot of trouble getting through that section clean. He really just needs to step on the brakes a little bit more, and he'll be very, very good shape. I mean, right now, a bad situation for no vacancy. Mintz going outside. He's really full sending it in this round. Brandon going for the inside low speed line. The keyboard abuser and Mintz will be the ones holding up P1, P2. Kind of sitting wheel to wheel as they jump into the ending. Not enough track for them, for no vacancy to really stop that from happening. 3/10 of a gap between the teams. So all of a sudden, the series that's been 1 point of a difference the entire time is now 5-9 in favor of the keyboard kids, where if they win, they'll get to move on to the grand final and face off against Halcyon, who have been dominant in almost every match they've played so far. Kind of an aura lob, but, you know. The Snowy this time. Snowy and Brandon sitting P1, P2, trying to equalize it yet again. That's all they've been doing, though. Brandon, motherfucker. Snowy, motherfucker. So both of the no vacancy players. Is there a third place match? This is it. Whoever loses this is third place. So as you see, the comms coming in the Twitch chat. Safe, safe, safe. You have over half a second to the next player. Snowy, the only one really in contention. And even then, it won't be enough. Mintz and Keyboard Abuser will make their way into the finish to end the series and close out the semifinals. So soon, we will see Mintz and Keyboard Abuser against Nixotica and Fegley in the grand finals. So for anyone watching the stream, please listen. So the format actually does change a little bit. We no longer have bans, meaning we will be sitting on a best of 5 match. So all maps will be played if it goes the distance. There's no more bans anymore in the final match. So we will see Rain Dance. We will see Ase's map. Well, they still do get to pick the order, so it could end in a 3-0. But where can I play these maps? These are in the NCSA Trackmania Club. But unfortunately, I'd love to tell you more about it, but I'm gonna... There's thunder outside my house. I'm gonna go to a quick break. I promise you we will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna keep you here and bring you a whole long spiel about what's about to happen. You know what's about to happen. We've been waiting for it all day. We are at the grand final of the HLX Duo series. This is the last time you will be seeing this pick and ban menu. We're gonna go ahead and get the show on the road because it is pissing it down outside. I'm not sure if the thunder's coming through my microphone, but I'm worried my power is gonna go out. Why are the bums picking first? Because Compto wouldn't let me change them. Because it's ignoring the seating. I don't know, bro. We'll start on featuring Lynn, which is has been working out pretty well for the keyboard kids, and then we'll go My Hand is a Curtain. And then as we see what the next pick will be. Remember, this is a best of 5, meaning you need to win 3 maps, not just 2 now. So you have to be on your A game all the way through. Gemrold will be the next pick for the keyboard kids. I'm not sure that's the best option, but then again, what would be the best option here? Begley, I'm assuming, will pick Rain Dance. As we go into the beginning of the longest series of the day, Halcyon have earned their spot to the grand final through the upper bracket, while the keyboard kids have fought their way all the way through the lowers. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. It's probably going to break now that I think of it. Sorry to ruin the climactic moment, but it's probably going to break whenever we get into the next map. Good luck, have fun. I'm going to turn chat off, but I probably will have to turn it back on here in a minute. This is the grand finale. This is the best of 5. So it's first of 3 out of the 5 map pack. So there is a possibility we see every single map in this series. What is Nyx doing? So as we go one more time on the loading screen. One more time on the... Okay. Everything just happened. So it's broken. And Mince's game crashed. Everything's fine, guys. Alright, we wait on Mince. And then... So yeah, Dan, that's a good point. That was my next question I was going to ask. Who do you guys think is going to win? And what do you think the score at the end will be? So Dan's saying Halcyon 3-1. If we get any more guesses in, I'll read them out. 3-0 Halcock. I need map 5. So Rabbi's assuming it goes 3-2. Miggy Cagney 3-0. Does he know? I'll call 3-2 Halcyon. A lot of people saying Halcyon. Okay. Oh my god. There is thunder roaring outside my home as we go live into round number 1 of the grand finals. Mince and Keyboard versus Fegley and Nixotica in a best of 5 match for all of the marbles. Oh, I probably should have said this. The winner of this Yeah, winner of this, they get automatic seeding in the next series. I probably should have said that there was some reward. Whoa. Ah, whatever. So Nick's doing a good job at keeping himself together this time around, but it will be pretty close as we go into the turnaround. Keyboard abuser not going to make it very easy, but Nyx keeps so much speed out of that. When is the next series? Sometime in 2027. Immense now, neck and neck with his teammate, Fegley sitting right behind. He won't have enough speed, but everyone makes it into the finish within 0.4 of a second in round number 1. So we're already driving 0.4s, by the way, Nexotica. Okay. So just a reminder, world record is a 0.1 by Fegley. As we go into round number 2, all the players getting it pretty well. Fegley really loves sending that drift as much as possible and catching as little of that anti-boost as he can. You see Mince's alternate strategy. Actually, Nexotica also going for it now. It's a little bit slower with how he did it, but you could just chalk that up to bad luck due to the nature of how precise you have to be. As we go, the usernames are wrong, so I'm just gonna keep them off. Sorry, guys. We go into the back half of the map now. Keyboard abuser is fighting with Nexotica for this P3 position to decide the result of this match. Keyboard abuser will actually get ahead for just a second, but Mince is slowly but surely clipping out. As we get into the finish now, it is a Halcyon 1-2, but maybe Keyboard abuser can deny. No, he won't. 200th of a second. Another 0.4. What? So an ace for Halcyon with 0.3 from the world record by Fegley. World record holder getting within 0.3 of his PB, I should say. Which kind of dumbs it down a little bit, but whatever. See if usernames are fixed. Nope. Sorry, guys. I'll just keep them on if they distract me. I'll just cry a little bit. So Mince, you see his alternate strategy now. I finally got the chance to spectate him out of the start, so Fegley also. A little bit of a bad situation for him. He's currently sitting more than half a second behind the P3 player of Keyboard abuser Nexotica, though. A lot of speed as we go into the turnaround. He keeps so much speed through here, and I'm not... So Mince now sitting P1. Keyboard abuser right behind as we go into the back half of the map. Checkpoint 9. Up the outside dirt. Keyboard abuser also making a mistake along with Fegley. So slowly but surely everyone will be making their way into the finish. Mince still driving a pretty good time. You know, we had 2 good rounds in a row. We deserve to have one of these. So the keyboard kids will equalize it a little bit. The Halcyon ace still kind of dealing some lasting damage this time around, but definitely not the end of the world, I want to say. 2-point deficit for the keyboard kids right now, definitely comebackable, especially if Mince keeps getting those starts like he's been having them. I mean, right now he's deep in the mud. I mean, deep in the mud. So as we go back on board with his teammate, keyboard abuser will be sitting P1 at the end of all that mess. So Nexotica left to try and overtake the keyboard kid player of keyboard abuser. We'll see if Nexotica can actually capitalize with his higher speed line. It won't work out this time for him. He'll keep similar speed to keyboard abuser. A lot less time on the brakes though. We'll have to release though. As we go into the ending, keyboard abuser actually fully maxing that outside dirt one last time. We'll see. Fegley mess up the finish, and maybe Mince can get ahead. No, not this time around. So another draw as we inch closer to the 10-point limit. Usernames will be fixed on map switch, by the way. They won't stay like this. So please at least stay until map 2. Well, stay on board with Mince, because his alternate strategy, as I've said a lot of the time before, You need to get it good for it to be faster. And that looks okay. It's probably about equal to the normal strategy. And Exotica actually a little bit more speed pulling away in this round. Half a second ahead, already halfway through the map. So Fegley and Keyboard Abuser will be the ones fighting for position. Fegley now. I don't... What happens here? Oh my god, I don't know if that went through my noise suppression, but like lightning is striking like right outside my home. I'm actually like stuttering, bro. Over for me. Nixotica very comfortably sitting P1, Keyboard Abuser more than a full second behind. I'm curious to see what this time is. Watching? 59.2! Okay, 0.1 from the record.
Draw.
Yeah, very good job there by Nyx. Even though it, on a round where it didn't really matter, still to drive that time and stay that focused. Nixotica, I believe the last North American Cup also drove world record in rounds, so maybe he could repeat it and overtake his teammate's world record. Smile. Now as we go into round number 6 this time, Mince will be the first one to make a mistake, and then Fegley, so it's going to be a 1v1 up front. Nixotica versus Keyboard Abuser, but Nixotica, 3 mistakes have come out from all the players, so we'll go on board with Mince, who's very far behind his competitor of Nixotica, but sitting in a victory formation for the Keyboard Kids, which would tie this all up. No. It'd make it a 1-point series. Jesus. Guys, math is so hard. But as we go into the end, one more time, Keyboard Abuser will be getting P1 with a 59.9, still a respectable time. Anything with a 59 is good pace. It's for these guys. That'd be an insane pace for me. While we have some downtime,
Victory.
let's look at some PBs. So Fegley, 0.1. Nyx drove his PB a few rounds ago. And then we have Keyboard Abuser with a 0.3, and then Mince exactly a 10th behind with a 0.4. So in terms of PVs, this Halcyon team seems to be a little bit more consistent, but both of them are in contention to close out the map right now. Nixotica and Keyboard Abuser both kind of messing up before the turnaround. They're both going to be deep in the mud this time around. Nixotica barely avoiding that pull. So Mince a lot less speed than Fegley, so Fegley's going to zoom ahead of the Arizonan. Very spread out field this round to kind of decide the series, but right now in a draw formation. Slowly but surely making their way to the finish. Fegley has started to make some mistakes here in the ending. So it's not the end of the world for Mince. You can see Mince safing it, break tapping there just a little bit and releasing in the grass turn. Hoping and praying for a Fegley mistake. I mean, he's more than a second behind. It is a smart thing to do. But as all 4 cars come into the finish in draw formation, this will be the last round for Halcyon to really close it out before overtime is in the question. So a victory for the Keyboard Kids would send it into overtime, and Ace would flat out win it. And that is not what you want to see. Mince off to a bad start, wrecking out early, leaving Keyboard Abuser to kind of pick up the pieces because he has to get P1 for there to even be a chance. Because Mince would have to overtake one of the 2 players, but Halcyon guys, I believe Nyx plays HUD on, so he knows that they have a full second of a lead. Sorry, Daniel made me laugh. Keyboard Abuser doing a great job at holding this. Less than a 10th of a second between the 2 players, but as he sends it just a little bit too hard through that upside down section, the Halcyon team will be sitting comfortably in position 1 and 2 as they drive their victory lap to the ending, secure a 1 final ace, and to take the first map of the series. Good job there from Halcyon. I mean, with the pace Nixotica was driving, and Fegley, honestly, it'd be absurd if they didn't win that, but it got down to the wire. So as we go into map number 2, which I believe is... Oh, it's Ase's map. So as we saw in the last series, the Keyboard Kids versus No Vacancy, We saw that the keyboard kids were kind of struggling a little bit in the mid section of this map. They were getting out of the start pretty okay. I mean, Mints had some hiccups here and there, but definitely curious to see how they're going to perform this time now that they've maybe warmed up just a little bit on the map, but curious to see how it will go. The usernames still aren't fixed, by the way. That's so annoying. Everyone's just blue usernames. Sorry, guys. I'd love to fix it. It's probably annoying me more than it's annoying you. Exotica clipping the hole there. I know it's warm up, but still, it's very funny. We never played map 2 until the last 2 matches. Worst strategic call of all time. There's been worse, but I will admit it wasn't good. For anyone new joining the stream, Brandon was one of the players on No Vacancy that lost to the keyboard kids on this map. As we go into round number 1 of My Hand is the Curtain, Exotica and Fegley looking very strong out of the start. I mean, as I called it, Mints struggling a little bit out of the start, having to safe it and lose just time. Slowly but surely having to safe this one too. So Keyboard Abuser is kind of left in the running to really capitalize on this situation to stop the Exotica and Fegley 1 and 2. Exotica losing a little bit of speed, having to correct himself, so Fegley is going to be jolted into position 1. Keyboard Abuser really sending that plastic section as much as he can. Exotica barely scraping by the back tires of Keyboard Abuser. Keyboard Abuser actually in contention to overtake P1. Now Fegley with a more inside line as we go all the way to the finish. Who will it be? It'll be Fegley. He'll hold on for a victory for Halcyon.
Victory.
Very close there in that round. I mean, less than a 10th of a second separating them. Good effort by Keyboard Abuser there, but way too close to call up until we saw the final result. So in this round, Exotica is off to a great start. Unfortunately, his teammate can't say the same thing unless he magically finds speed and jolts himself into position 2. Fighting with Keyboard Abuser once again, both of them getting insanely close to clipping the hole this time around. Mints, much closer contention than the previous round we saw. As we go into the drifting section now, all these players keeping as much speed as possible, and Exotica going very wide, keeping all the speed he can, but Fegley, his teammate, is catching up to him. Slowly but surely into the final section of the map. Through the last checkpoint, it does look like an ace formation, unless Keyboard Abuser can actually get past Fegley. One more time, Exotica will be clipping and throwing his car down into the right side. Fegley, though, will be there to pick up the pieces by 1/100th of a second, all the way through to the ending of the map. There's no safe finish here. Sorry, Nix.
Draw.
Will be a draw yet again. You said the names would be fixed? I lied. Sorry. I wanted them to, but they did not. It's because I forced them onto Halcyon. I forced Nix and Fegley onto Red Team. So Checkmania Console didn't update their names because it sucks. Anyway, enough complaining. Mints, unfortunately, off to a bad start. He'll be 2 seconds behind. So again, it's up to Keyboard Abuser as we go into the dirt section of this map. And Exotica not making it easy for him, though. Both of them getting very good speed out of here. Fegley is starting to be left behind just a little bit, maybe a wheel length between the 2 players. So Exotica will be sending this as much as possible as we go into the plastic yet again. Exotica feeling very more comfortable as we've seen, but again, it's Keyboard Abuser versus Fegley in the back half of this map. Exotica making a name for himself in this situation this time around. The Keyboard Abuser does have his work cut out for him, as you see Mints still deep in the mud back there. Fegley will be able to keep his lead 4/1000th of a second. He won't keep his lead. If you jump all the way to the left, you finish earlier. And Keyboard Abuser will actually make that a draw instead of a victory for Team Halcyon. With that insane last-ditch effort play, it worked out, but this time, Mints and Keyboard Abuser won't be able to keep it together in the start of this map, leaving Exotica and Fegley with a lot of buffer to really work with now. They can save the parts where they're crashing, they can deal with the things they need to deal with about 0.6 of a buffer. So right now, kind of a worst case scenario situation for the keyboard kids after that miraculous attempt in keyboard abuser, unfortunately. Finding out his back tire does not like to be in that hole very much. So up to Mintz now. Nyx and Fegley racing each other as much as possible. So through to the ending section of this map, we will... Oh, keyboard abuser is just dead. He's full 10 seconds behind, so it's up to Mintz. We'll watch from his POV, but unfortunately, not enough there. As they equaled! An equal time ace. Wow. Good race between the Halcyon guys. Okay. So an ace will bring this series much closer to the end, or this track much closer to the end, as they already reached checkpoint, one more ace. And they have closed this one out very quickly. I saw a lot of predictions in chat that Halcyon would win in the end. But I saw a lot of 3-1s, 3-2s, but right now, if the keyboard kids play how they did on this map, maybe it's not looking so good. But it could have been a, oh, let's pick this one, get it out of the way first kind of pick. So Fegley and Nyx doing their best to stay P1, P2, but Fegley will be clipping the wall just a little bit. Mintz and keyboard abuser, so much speed through this section. As we go on board, Nyxotica making a huge mistake. The respawns on this map are incredibly long. All the checkpoints are bunched up near the ending. So if you fail near the start, you're just out of the running for that round. But Fegley making a name for himself, getting past Mintz in this round, trying to stop the counter race. But Mintz a little bit more speed to go up the hill. Fegley doing a good job of getting lower through here. Mintz won't have enough time or enough speed, but Fegley will sabotage himself, turn in just a little bit too early, and make the keyboard kids have that counter ace ready to go. But it is still, I don't want to say the score. It's Halcyon are ahead by 1 point. Get out of here, Wiggity. I'm not saying it. As we go into round number 6 now, we are nearing the end of this track. Keyboard abuser and Fegley doing their Mintz. Stop lagging. Doing their best to hold the position. Mintz the only one really away from the pack as much as possible. Fegley doing such a good job of keeping all the speed he can through here, but keyboard abuser is right with him. 0.008 of a second separating the two players as Mintz is slowly but surely, he gets past Nyxotica due to that unfortunate clip. Nyxotica will be taking that position back though, so we'll go on board with Fegley. As we get into the ending of the map, keyboard abuser, they will be equal going into checkpoint number 8. Keyboard abuser has been in this situation multiple times and has lost here. But let's see how it pans out this time around. Has a full car length. Mintz though making a mistake, so it will be keyboard abuser, Fegley, Nyxotica, and it will be an ace as we inch closer. Halcyon only need victory to close out the track now. Mintz finding his Onyx car into the finish. This could be the very last round, round number 7. Anything longer than 7 rounds, it kind of gets into the you don't know who's going to win territory, because these teams have been at each other's necks this time around. So again, same story. Nyxotica trailing P3. Fegley and keyboard abuser fighting for P1, and then Mintz cannot seem to get the start down, and it's starting to tank the team's total time. There's a whole lot of T's in that one, sorry. So Fegley will be the first one to get away from the pack as Nyxotica throws his car around the corner, but he will be the first one to end up clipping. Mintz should be able to get past him from that, so Fegley doing a good job at finding his way all the way through to the ending. So Mintz will be ahead of Nyxotica as we go into the ending. Right now, sitting in a draw position. If Fegley can keep a hold of it, he has about 3 car lengths ahead of keyboard abuser. Nyxotica will be going for the inside. He will! Halcyon will take My Hand is a Curtain by Ase. A last-ditch effort by the old Damascus Gaming driver for Team Halcyon will throw his car into the finish and take that map by literally the skin of his teeth. I did not call him old, Daniel. Old is in past. Gosh. You guys are so critical of me. I'm a human too. This map, though, Nixotica has been, obviously it's his map, and he owns the world record here. But Mince and Keyboard Abuser have been kind of locked here getting out of the start very securely. As I say that, Keyboard Abuser wants to respawn. But yeah, you just need to make sure this drift that Mince is in right now, you need to make sure you're maximizing the speed of that because it carries all the way through this water section and a little bit through the booster. It doesn't matter that much, but if you're just keeping it all together through to the very end. So we'll go live with round number 1. Sure. Yep. I'm just making sure there's no tech issues. So if Halcyon win this one, we're done. We won't see all 5 maps. We'll see 3 of them. And it'll be lights out, Halcyon win it all. And they will actually have a guaranteed spot in the next edition of the Duo Series. So all 4 plays making it out of the start. Mince on starts is going to be studied after this because he has been struggling very much so, but all the other players literally within 1 wheel length of each other. Begley opting for that little bit of a different line, and it actually does work out for him this time around. So sitting in a victory position for Halcyon in round number 1. All 4 players very, very close right now, though. Begley will be sitting P1. Keyboard Abuser trying to compensate. 2 mistakes there? 3 mistakes. As Keyboard Abuser is also way too slow to really do anything here. The entire field just changed position, but it doesn't matter. It'll still end up a victory for Halcyon in the ending of Gemerald. What the hell? Jeez. I mean, these teams have been fighting as hard as they could for nearly every single round. There hasn't been one in this series, at least, maybe in the last series, where everyone crashes. It was we had some moments. There was some close ones, but Keyboard Abuser this round won't be as fortunate as his past for those P1, P2 positions, and will just be trailing behind by nearly half a second. So it's up to Mince to get past the 2 Halcyon players and stop them from acing and inching them closer to a full clean sweep. Mince, though, doing a good job of getting past Nixotica, going to have break taps 1 too many times as we go into the ending. So this, even with a good spin, it won't be enough. But Begley will spin just a little bit too much, have too much ice on his tires, and deny themselves the opportunity of getting that ace. So instead of a 1 to 5 series, it's now 2 to 4. Ooh, Mince, unfortunately, a little bit too ambitious as he gets out of that water wheel section. I mean, Begley and Nyx sitting in a victory formation. Keyboard Abuser again. Keyboard Abuser has been the pain in Halcyon's neck this series, just not making it easy for them whatsoever. Well, as I say that. Dodika also making a tiny mistake, and I have to safe it a lot. He will actually drop to gear 2, so maybe. Halcyon sitting 1 and 2 pretty comfortably in this round now, so they will be launched into 7 points and already not only on track point but on match point. Keyboard, wrong way. Wrong way, man. No, not that way, man. He almost had it. He'll find there. He'll find it eventually. As we go into round number 4, Halcyon are looking to shut Keyboard Kids out very, very early. Slowly but surely, Nixotica and Begley have climbed their way. I don't even want to say climbed. They dominated their way into the grand finals, and now they're given the opportunity to close it out here and now. The Keyboard Kids were in this exact position in playoffs round number 3 against the other Halcyon, and actually had a few other aces. So I wouldn't count them out just yet, but with Fegley driving such consistent lines in this series so far, it'll be nearly impossible for Mintz to get past, especially Exotica making a mistake, but even a draw just inches them closer to what seems like it might be the inevitable. Fegley has been making mistakes here, though. He has half a second. Still goes for the spin. Will be enough. Mintz gets it done there. Very close to the P3 battle as well.
Draw.
So a draw inches us closer to the very, very ending. Halcyon have been very dominant in the series, very dominant in the tournament. Someone made a mistake. Keyboard abuser is out. Exotica is out. It's Mintz versus Fegley for the P1 position. If keyboard abuser can somehow get past Nixotica, take a look on how far he is. Around 0.2 of a second. They could have a chance to ace once again. Mintz opting for that drifting line while Fegley currently sitting second in the world records, I'm pretty sure. And it will be a very, very hard challenge. But Keyboard Abuser did actually get past Nixotica. We'll take a look at that battle. Nixotica actually claimed his position back due to Keyboard Abuser mistake. So Fegley will be clipping out. So Nixotica will be trying to pick up the pieces as well as he can, and it'll be a victory for the Keyboard Kids. So I would not count them out yet. They have been in this position before, and they brought it back from the depths of hell. So all eyes on the start. If the Keyboard Kids can get out of the start as clean as possible without any too much time loss, I think they have a chance if Fegley isn't on his tip-top game. Round number 6. Halcyon again looking to close it out one more time. Exotica clipping out again. Fegley very wide, so Mintz will be fighting for P2. Keyboard Abuser sitting P1. Mintz sitting P2 pretty comfortably now after that Fegley clip. So what seemed like a fantasy at first is now slowly but surely coming to fruition. Fegley a lot more speed going into the water, though. It's going to be fighting with Mintz all the way through the dirt section. Let's see who can keep their gear. Fegley getting his gearbox as low as he can to gear 2. If he can stay in this second place position, it is lights out for the Keyboard Kids. But Mintz not letting it happen. As close as it is, Mintz spinning a little bit late. He will not have it. Halcyon will secure the second place. As close as it was all the way to the very line.
Victory.
Mintz overturned just a little bit too late. And it will be it. Halcyon are your Helix Duo Series Edition number 1 champions. They have secured their seed to Edition 2. Oh my gosh. So as we reach the end of a day of matches, I have 3 words for you. Thanks for playing. And I'll see you all again for Edition 2 in 2027. Bye-bye.